Hello guys, welcome back. So in this lesson we're going to be talking about numbers and how to count. So we'll first start with the basics. We'll learn how to count from 0 to 10, then the teens and up to 100, and then we'll discuss the hundreds and the thousands, and then we'll talk about some exceptions, some more complicated things. Alright, so let's start. I'll count from 0 to 10. Please pay attention to the tones, alright? You should be able to pick it up, you should be able to tell which tone it is by just by listening to me. Alright, so let's start. 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Alright? Okay, so another thing, I'll pronounce it again. Now this time, pay attention to my to the gestures I'm doing with my hands. All right, so it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Alright, now those gestures are not, I'm not just making them for fun. It's actually very useful in China. Like the Chinese always use those gestures. Taxi drivers and restaurants and so on. Alright, so you should be able to, you should memorize them, or at least be able to tell what they are by looking. Alright, now let's move on to the teens, okay? If you want to say, for example, 11, 12 and so on, it's actually pretty simple. You say, for example, let's say 12, okay? So 12 is 10 plus 2, right? So you say 10 and then you add 2, right? So it's 12, right? No need for the plus here. Alright? 12, right? 12 means 12. If you want to say, I don't know, 16. 16, alright? 16, 10 and 6, 16. Now, if you want to say 60, then you reverse them, right? It's pretty simple. Instead of, alright, if you want to say 60 or 50 or 40, what you do is you take the 6 multiplied by 10, right? So it's 60, right? 60 means 60. 6 times 10, 60, right? Okay, so if you want to say, for example, 35, again, you follow the same principle. 35 is 30 plus 5, right? So 30 is 30, right? 30, and 5 is 5, right? So it's 35, 35, alright? Very simple. Okay. Last example, 78, alright? So it's, can you think about it on your own? 70 will be 70, and 8 will be 8, so together it will be 78, 78, right? 78. Okay. Okay, now let's talk about some exceptions. This character here, which is pronounced E, and it means 1, its tone takes some different forms. It changes according to the situation. And I'll give you an example. In the previous lesson, we said I have only one friend, and we said 一个朋友. Alright, you remember? 一个朋友. So in this case, we pronounce this as 一个朋友. Now, in here, I wrote it with the first tone, and here I wrote it with the second tone. Now, this character here actually gets its tone from the character that follows it. If you're just counting, for example, if you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, you pronounce it with a first tone. But if it has a character that follows it, for example, if you want to say one friend, you're not just counting, you're quantifying something, then if the character that follows it has a fourth tone, then this character here will get a first tone, alright? So this is fourth, and this will be first. If the character that follows it has a different tone, not a fourth tone, for example, let's have a look at this character here, which is pronounced bai, and it means 100. So if you want to say 100, you will say yi bai with a fourth tone. Okay? So I hope you didn't get too confused. I'll repeat the rule again. This character here, if you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Okay, so it has a first tone. But if you want to say one friend, or 100, or you want to quantify something, then this character will derive its tone from the character that follows it, according to the following rule. If the character that follows it has a fourth tone, it will get a first tone. Otherwise, in any other case, meaning if it has a first, second, or third tone, then this character here will get a fourth tone. Right? I know it's very confusing. I will write down the rule just have a look at the description, and the rule is there. Alright, so this was one exception. Another exception about this character is that if you want to say, for example, if you want to read out loud your phone number, alright? Let's have an example. 150023. Now, in this case, you know what? Let's make it 1 here. In this case, you will not read this character as E, you will read it as yao, alright? Also first tone, yao, and here as well. So this will be pronounced as 151023. Alright? Again, if you want to say a number, a long number, digit after digit, for example, if you want to say your phone number, or you want to say, for example, I live in building 723, then you will, in many cases, you will pronounce the 1 with yao and not with e. Alright? So it's 151023. Right. Another exception regarding this character here, r, which means 2. In many cases, again, if you're counting, if you want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you would actually say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you want to say, for example, 2 friends, if you want to quantify something, 2000, you will use a whole different, completely different character, okay? And this character is pronounced liǎng, third tone, liǎng, and it's written like this. Okay, now, alright, this is not the most beautiful way to write it. Alright, try it again, more beautiful. Right. Okay, so this character here means 2 if you're quantifying something. Let's have a look at an example. If you want to say, I have 2 friends, then you would say 我有. This means I have, alright, 我有2个朋友. Right? So let's write down the pinyin. Let's use the blue marker. So this will be pronounced as 我有. Alright, so since it's a third character and a third character, it's a third tone and a third tone, it will be pronounced as 我有. Alright, second and third. Second and third. 我有2个朋友. Right? Okay, so let me make it clear. Since we have 3 consecutive third tone, we'll pronounce it as 我有两个朋友. I have 2 friends. Alright, this is a measure word for friends. Alright, for people or, well, if you want to, you have to put this character 个 before friends. Alright, like we talked about in the previous lesson. So 我有两个朋友. Forgot the 有, which means I have 2 friends. Alright, you cannot say 我有2个朋友. That is wrong. Alright. Okay, I know it's very confusing and I know there are many exceptions, but what can you do about it? Alright, so now let's move on to some higher numbers. We deviated a bit from our subject. Let's go back to numbers. If you want to say 300 and 340, for example, 340, right? I wrote it in this way just so it would be easier to understand how to form it. So 300 will be 300, alright? 300, and 40 will be 40. So together it will be 340, alright? 340. Oh, that came out a bit ugly. Sorry about that. I'll try it again. 40, alright? 340, right? 340, and it means 340. Okay, so the principle is simple. It remains the same principle all along. If you want to say, for example, 1525, right? 1525. Alright, so this will be 1525. Alright, that was a bit complicated. So again, 1000 will be 1000, alright, it will be 4th tone because this is a first tone, right? So it's 1500, alright, 500. 25 will be 25, right? Oh man, it's confusing. I'll just write it down. 1500, right? 1525. 1525. Right. Okay. That was difficult. I hope it was clear. I know it's a bit confusing, and I actually gave you many rules and many exceptions. Just look at this video a few times and read the description and practice it on your own. Try to make up some numbers and translate them from Chinese to English and from English to Chinese. If you have any questions, remark, or whatever, please post them. And see you in the next lesson.